Welcome to the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, for over 30 years. Both of us have been selling houses, slinging mortgages, financing them things, and it's just
fixing family problems.
I'd say, what do you think? About 60% of our job is therapy.
It is therapy.
It is helping people answer their questions.
It's crisis prevention and keeping people from losing their minds.
Well, I always think of Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby and the cougar.
Yeah.
And his dad throws the cougar at him.
Yeah.
He's like, control your fear, Ricky Bobby. That's what we do. That's what we do for a living, Bruce. You and I answering these questions right now. But I want to dig into some things today. I got inventory numbers, and I called it the beginning of this year is going to be the first quarter is going to be the bottom of the market. We're going to dig into that. Lowest interest rates. I want to talk to you about this. Lowest interest rates since last spring, and then making money in real estate. If you don't want to be a landlord, how do you make money in real estate? If or if you do want to be a landlord,
owning it, you'll make money.
We're going to talk about that and what's the best formula for that. So we'll dig into that. What do you got today?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the activity in the market and why people are jumping in right now. Because, as soon as the ball dropped for New Year's, the market just started pouring in. And I knew that the market was going to start increasing. I think people are just, over the fact that they were sitting on the sidelines. But I want to talk about who's jumping in the market right now and why are they doing it? Because I think we still see people talking about, we could see lower rates in the future. So I want to talk about the direction that things are going in and the likelihood that rates are going to drop. So we want to discuss that. Debt consolidation, I want to talk about that a little bit, and how to properly negotiate your transaction when it comes to purchasing a home. How do I do it? And what do I do to make sure I'm maximizing my profits? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We had a great class earlier this week, and for people that joined us on our Wealth Building Leapfrog program. So we can talk a little bit about that. But Cleve, there's just a lot of activity, and I'm telling you, my team they went from being slow to being just almost incredible. I'm actually looking at a couple of new hires right now.
Well, I got people that are right now doing a lot of moving around, and it's funny because of the higher interest rates. They stayed put a little while. Like they could have moved a year or so ago, 2 years ago, but they wanted, the price on their house went up, and now they're like, okay, I can do all cash on the next sale.
Right.
I know you don't like to hear that, but
I don't mind. I mean, just because I don't do a mortgage doesn't mean I don't want people.
I know.
But I also agree with leveraging, right?
Yes. And so we got people they're going to do a smaller mortgage or no mortgage sometimes. And I got a lot of families that called me about doing that, helping them with their real estate planning for this year. And then the inventory numbers I wanted to go into. Inventory about the past 6 months had been climbing steadily because of the interest rates and slower sales and inflation.
Right.
Thanks to Sleepy Joe. And inventory kind of peaked in November at 8,200 homes. And it went to 7,800. It dropped in December. So inventory actually went down. And the number of sales.
That's because more sales, right?
Yes. And well, not more sales, just not as many people entering the market. And we had 2,000 sales. And last year there was 2,200. So when those sales numbers, and I give these to you every month when I get them. As soon as I get them, we put it on the radio.
Now that was December.
That was December.
Yes.
So interest rates,
So December was still slow. Now we're in January. We are not going to have January's numbers out for another month,
another couple weeks. But what's happening, Bruce, when those numbers exceed when 24 sales numbers exceed 23, we know we've bottomed. We're bouncing. Not dead.
Sure.
Hopefully not a dead cat bounce, but we know rates are going to come down slowly. And that's what's going to help, because even with rates higher, average rate right now, 6.6%, according to this report.
That's about right.
A year ago, 6.1.
Okay.
And when this happened, so barely less sales on that. And we've gotten, so 2,000 sales. Now, January numbers will probably be like 1,800 sales. And then a year ago, they were 7. And this is where we'll probably see it. A year ago, January sales were 1,700 sales.
So they don't count those sales until they close too. Correct?
Yeah, these are closed. These are done.
So it's interesting because my business literally tripled in one day. Like January 3rd, things started to just move. So those numbers won't close till February.
Like you're working on these sales numbers I'm reporting. You're working on
February,
March, and April. People that are getting approved
correct.
Looking for a house.
That's right.
So, and that's what's good about it. Because right now, where are we at on rates?
Well, you nailed it. Your average rate at about 6.6. I'm locking people in. I've got a couple of VA clients we locked in the low sixes. You can buy it down into the fives. I don't recommend it because you could refi later and you'd save the money and not have to come out of pocket with paying down a permanent buy down right now. So I'm not really recommending people paying a lot of points. But some people just they see that number and they'd rather have 5.99 than 6.1. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yep.
don't worry about that. It's your payment, but it's also looking at what does the future hold for you. So you have to have a game plan. Don't just react to what it is today. Those are the people that refinance today or buy today, buy their rate down, and then want to refinance later, and they didn't recoup what they paid for that rate buy down. If you need further explanation, call me now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. I am the loan arranger, and I'll help you structure your transaction. Believe me, and you will never get a sales pitch here. You're just going to get great information that'll help you close your current transaction and set yourself up for the future.
All right. And if you need to reach me to sell a house, buy a house, or you've got rental property you need it managed, you're tired of dealing with tenants, call me at 407-352-8118 and go to cleveloveland.com. Love to help you with that. So, but really good numbers came in on this report, Bruce. And I just think this is because I actually pulled, where is my report here? I actually pulled, you know how many listings we had back in 2016, 2017?
I don't know. The whole 6,000?
No, the whole year long, about 8,200, 8,800 listings.
Okay.
So inventory's actually better than it was in 2016 and 2017. Now interest rates were lower; they were 4%.
Sure.
And there was more sales. There was about 3,020, let's say average about 2,500 sales a month, 2,700 sales a month, depending on where you're at. But I think we're going to move back towards this as these rates come back down. But these were artificially, actually, that's way before COVID. That's 4 years before COVID.
Yeah.
But back then our median price was about $250.
You know, it's interesting. I can recall going back when we had rates at one point in the 2s and then the 3s. And I can remember people say that when the rates moved to the 4s, they're like, oh, I'm not buying right now. I'm not paying 4% interest rate. I'm like, are you kidding me? You go, oh, no. My friend got 3.25. My friend got 2.9 and I'm not paying no 4s. And now you would give an arm and a leg to get a rate at 5. Okay?
And here's this is this time of year, Bruce, it's January. I see the people spinning the signs on the corner, tax refund time.
Yep.
Before they talk, if you're self-employed, they need to be talking to you before they talk to their accountant to finalize that. Because if they want to set themselves up to buy something this year.
Once you push the button to send that form to the IRS, I can't come back and fix it. So if you're looking at buying a home, you're self-employed, 1099, then you're going to want me to review your previous tax returns so you know what to show on your future tax returns. That's what I do to help you. Now, I don't tell you what income you need to make. I tell you what income you need to make in order to qualify for what you want. I'm not saying, hey, report this income. That would be.
Here's what people need to get. If our rates are in the 6s or the 5s, wherever they're at, a year ago, Bruce, the average price was $421,000.
Okay. What is
average price now? $451, up 7%. Median price was $353 a year ago. Median price now, $368, up 4%. So in a lackluster year,
oh my gosh!
I'm telling Joe Biden asleep at the wheel, we had 4% appreciation.
And you wait for that appreciation when rates hit 5.5. You're going to see that we're going to be back into 18%. So, and that's why I'm encouraging people now, Cleve, don't wait for interest rates to drop, because your logic would go, well, why do I want to buy now? Why don't I wait for interest rates to drop? That's logical thinking, but it's not realistic. What you want to do is get in now, because you won't have that opportunity once rates do drop. Because right now, let's just say 10 people want to buy a home, but only 3 of them are willing to jump into the market on a 6.5% interest rate. What are the other 7 doing? Sitting on the sidelines, waiting for rates to hit 5.25. And as soon as they do, then all 10 of you are in, and there's not even close to enough inventory to cover it.
Well, I just think it's just important you know where you're at on this. Get Fast Track. Tell everybody about that real quick.
Fast Track,
because that's what's going to be important if you're up against multiple offers.
Fast Track is a full underwritten loan approval so that you have no question in mind that your loan is fully approved. Pre-qualifications and pre-approval letters are written by loan officers who cannot approve a loan. There's not a loan officer in the country that can approve a loan unless you're loaning your own money. So underwriters approve loans, not loan officers. So a Fast Track is a full underwritten loan before you find the property. So when you have a Fast Track, I guarantee the seller on-time closing. I can close as little as short as 10 days. And if I don't close on time, I will pay the seller up to $500 per day for every day that we miss the closing. Now, that doesn't mean that my client died and I can't close it. That means that I somehow miss something and I miss that closing. I'm into it for $500 a day. That's not going to happen.
That plus when you call the other agent, when your offer goes in and there's 4 agents the listing agent can't get a hold of, and they never heard from any of them, and 2 of the offers don't have even pre-qual letters with them. And then you call that agent, say, hey, this deal you got from Loveland team is great. That's when it gets your offer to the top of the pile.
Absolutely, it does. You know, a real estate agent needs to know that they've got a competent loan officer on the other end. I can promise you, your Rocket Mortgage, your Truist, your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo agents, loan officers are not going to live up to the standards that real estate agents need in order to manage the transaction, and they have to be able to manage it. And when you don't have a loan officer that's available after hours or on weekends, now call your credit union at 4:00 on Friday and see what time you get a phone call back. I bet it's not till after lunch on Monday. Now, when are you out negotiating a transaction? It's going to be on the weekend. It's going to be after hours. That's when transactions are negotiated. And you might need me to pick up the phone and go, hey, Billy, over at KW, man, my client with Cleve Loveland has made an offer on your property. I just want to let you know that loan is fully underwritten, approved. I'll guarantee your seller I'll close in 10 days if that's what they want. And if I don't, I'll pay your seller up to $500 a day per diem for every day we miss the closing. You're kidding me, Bruce. Nobody's doing that. No one's doing that, but it gives everyone a sense of assurity. It is the way to go. It will increase your negotiation strength. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com for the Loan Arranger, Bruce Woodburn.
Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118. Bruce, we got about 2 minutes left here. I want to ask you real quick about I've got a bunch of vacant land I'm going to be talking about on the listings I've gotten. I've got a 5-acre parcel. I got a 10-acre parcel. I got a 2-acre parcel. I got a single family lot. Construction perms.
Absolutely.
If rates are in the 6s, if you've got great credit, is that my rate on the construction perm, or how does that work?
Nope. It's not. So your construction money is always lent on a different basis than the permanent loan. So I do a one-time closing. So your construction money is going to be, 8 to 9% for the construction period, but that's only during the construction period. Your rate is going to be a little bit higher than today's prevailing rate when it comes to finalizing the transaction. So that rate is locked in. So let's just say today's rate 6.5, and your construction perm loan may be 7.25. Okay. Now we're now finished construction. Okay. I'm guaranteeing you a 7.25 rate, but you come to me and go, hey, Bruce, rates have dropped, man. They're now at 6.5%. I will do a one-time float down within 30 days of the CO or 30 days of the closing. So you have nothing to lose because you're guaranteed protection. That's
just amazing.
And
I didn't know you did that.
Absolutely. It's a one-time float down option, free of charge.
Well, we got to go on break in a second. One more time with the numbers, Bruce.
407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com.
And for Central Florida's voice of real estate, for your real estate plan, call 407-352-8118.
We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Radio Show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about strategies on purchasing and some of Cleve's great listings.